Hi everyone and welcome back. Today we're making honey baklava, a variation to the classic baklava with a lighter texture and excellent flavour. Still keeping with the traditional crispy golden layers and crunchy nuts, this version is for the health conscious. So if you love baklava and honey but want to reduce your sugar intake, this one's for you. Here's all the ingredients you will need, and I've substituted the remaining sugar with stevia. Let's start by making the honey syrup. You'll need 250 ml of cold water in a medium-sized pan. Add the sugar, or as I've done, substitute the sugar with stevia or alternative low-calorie sugar. Then add 420 grams of pure honey. Together the honey and sugar makes a silky, flavorful syrup that soaks the baklava without making it too sticky or overpowering. Add a slice of lemon and take it to the stove. To preserve the honey's nutrients when making syrup, use low heat and avoid boiling. Stir gently for around 3 to 5 minutes or until the sugar has fully dissolved, then take off the heat immediately. This should protect the enzymes and antioxidants in the honey. Leaving the syrup to cool, let's move on to the walnuts. You'll need around 400 grams of nuts. Alternative nuts such as pistachios, almonds, hazelnuts, or a combination can also be used. Using a processor or other method, finely chop or pulse the nuts into small, fairly even pieces, whilst avoiding turning them into a paste by overdoing it. A little variation in size is normal. Moving on to the butter now, I recommend using ghee instead of butter for various reasons, but in short it makes baklava flakier, nuttier, less soggy, and is more heat stable. If you have to use butter, use unsalted and melt gently. You should also strain off the milk solids to clarify the butter. However, with ghee, you don't need to worry about removing milk solids as it is already clarified. Once the butter has melted, put aside, and it's time to put our baklava together. You'll need approximately 470 grams of ready-made filo pastry. Often it will say it's for baklava if you buy it from an international store. Measure the tin you will be using and cut the filo roughly into the size of a tin. Then separate into 2 equal parts, one for below the filling and one for above. It helps if you put one pile across the other in this way, and remember to keep the filo covered at all times with either a plastic sheet or damp towel to prevent drying. Grab back your tin now, and using the melted butter, brush on to cover the tin, including brushing up to the top of the sides. We want the tin fully covered with the oil. Then you can start layering the filo. For this first part, I've used 3 sheets before brushing on the butter. Brush the butter on gently without damaging the filo, and be sure to pay particular attention to the sides. From here on, I'll be using 2 layers of filo each time before brushing on the butter. Adding a generous amount of the butter as you go along will help keep the layers separate, ensure even browning throughout, and add flavour and tenderness. If you find that you have an overlay at the sides, fold these down as you go along, and be sure to add extra butter to these areas. Keep going until you've used up half the pack of filo. Then it's time to add the filling. Spoon the filling on generously, covering the whole surface with the crushed nuts. Then level the top off using a spoon so the nuts are evenly distributed. Continue now with the second half of the filo sheets in the same way, layering 2 at a time before spreading on the melted butter. The number of sheets you have will vary according to your pack. This one I've used today had 24 sheets in total, so I used 12 below the filling and 12 above. Also, the size of your tray will determine the number of layers. I'll put the measurements of the tray I used in the video description. Continue until you reach the final layer, then make sure all the edges are tucked in and well buttered. It's then time to cut our baklava into portion sizes before we bake it. Using a sharp knife or other instrument, gently cut into the portion sizes of your choice. Typically, baklava is cut into small pieces of around 1.5 to 2 inches wide and 2 to 3 inches long, and can be cut into rectangular or diagonal shapes. However you cut it, be sure to go right to the bottom, cutting all of the layers. Brush on some extra butter where you make the cuts so that the pastry stays nice and moist. Once you've cut all the pieces, it's time to bake our baklava in a preheated oven at gas mark for 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 40 to 45 minutes or until golden brown. Our baklava has just come out of the oven and is looking absolutely fantastic. Straight away we need to drizzle on the honey syrup, which has by now cooled down. Start with the edges working inwards and listen out for that gentle sizzle. Continue adding the syrup until the top looks evenly glossy and the syrup has reached the edges. And that's our honey baklava, crisp, syrupy and perfectly balanced. If you enjoyed this recipe, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more delicious recipes and let me know how yours turns out. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.